TIL Lego almost went bankrupt in the 1990s but was saved in part by the unexpected success of Bionicle. One thing Bionicle had was it wasn't just a Lego set to just build and make your own story with. They had a full production story behind them. While other sets had small comics and some young readers' books, Bionicle had a full developed world including several books, comics, a video game, and of course a movie. Was it geared towards kids? Of course it was. It was still a Lego product. Thinking back to the movie, was that the first Lego movie? I was a child in the 90s so I can't recall everything. All I do remember was that, for what it was, the lore was great. As a kid I was huge into Lego but never had any interest in Bionicle. Alternatively, so many of my friends were huge into Bionicle but didn't care about the rest of Lego. I feel like people don't really associate it with Lego as much as they just tend to think of it as being its own thing. I had tons of Lego as a kid but I only went to the town and country sets. I had a police station, hospital, Shell gas station, the racetrack and enough roads and generic pieces to build a small town in my room. Sucks I gave it all away but oh well, got no room or kids ATM. They had an issue where they refused to make new brick designs and because of that the arts weren't looking as modern as the era wanted. Since Binocles they realized that adding new bricks to stay current and for set design needs brains and money. And ever since it ended, Bionicle has been all but ignored. Even the attempted reboot only lasted 2 years, and while the new designs were well engineered internally, the Hero Factory armor shells were never a popular aesthetic. The coolest Lego was always the slightly more mature stuff. Rock Raiders, Alpha Team, Aquazone, Space, and of course Bionicle. Early Star Wars was cool too, but generally I never cared for IP crossovers. That's interesting because I was a huge Lego fan and I really disliked Bionicle. I liked the building processes as much as the playing processes so I missed the longer building process with Bionicle. I remember when they came out I was visiting my great-grandmother, she bought me the whole set, I was so happy. It was also the last time I saw her. I'm super bummed that they were lost after a move. I was a teen in the 90s. So out of the range of Bionicles. I remember thinking that they looked stupid and would obviously be a huge flop. Then they kept releasing more and more to my surprise. I had like 20 of them. They were just cheap enough that my mom would buy me one so I'd shut up at them all. Lol. Maybe the fact they weren't so freaking expensive like the other sets helped. Every time I think of Bionicles, I think of the song Move Along by R. Can't remember if they paired it with a commercial or a TV show but those two stick together for me. I remember getting a Bionicle PC game in the cereal box. Never heard of it before that. Played the F out of that game. Definitely inspired me to buy a few. Does anybody else compulsively say Bionicle in the same rhythm melody as the refrain to Elvis Costello's Veronica? Me? Yeah, okay. Still waiting for the replacement Bionicle piece that wasn't included in my set I got for Christmas as a kid. It was a big wing leg piece. I guess it really be true for Lego that even when your hope is gone, move along just to make it through. Always funny to think a company that produces plastic bricks could somehow have enough bureaucracy to bankrupt it. Do they make any fun shit anymore like the generic Space or Knights or City stuff? Or is it all licensed garbage? And they treated Bionicles like shit too less than a decade after cause it's not the image they are looking for. I remember playing the Bionicle browser flash game in the late 90s and thinking it was the best thing ever made. Slow Start did a fantastic video on this. Highly recommend you check it out. I mean action figures but Lego? They were so much fun to actually play with once completely assembled them out. I loved Bionicles as a kid, they were badass. I even remember playing a really shit Bionicle game on my PC. I heard that the VA for the adverts, Tony Wedgwood, is on the run from the Mafia. I just watched documentary about this last night. In GL it was actually surprising. I'm looking at the Bionicle video game on a GameCube. Bionicle has always slapped. It's weird how much modern Lego seems to despise the fact they made Bionicle. Well duh. Bionicle was the only Lego product I ever bought before becoming a parent, and went almost bankrupt again because they kept licensing expensive IPs. As the owner of many Bionicles as a child, you are welcomed, Lego. Unexpected. They marketed the hell out of it with TV commercials. I almost go bankrupt every time I walk into a Lego store.